And we should be live with Charles from dYdX Foundation. I just want to. I'm going to check with my trusty team that we are streaming. We are live, yeah. So we just do a quick check just to check that everything is streaming. You should be seeing us on YouTube, on Twitter. Charles, you're probably already famous. You're famous even more today. Great to have you on.
Danny, thanks so much for having me. I'm super excited to review the new milestone with you guys and connect with the community. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, so look, I'll kind of lead off, and we'll do introductions. I'll share a little anecdote. So if you're late, you won't get this. Actually, Charles and I have never met, but actually, I'm if you cut me open, my DNA is a salesman without a doubt. Whilst I'm the founder of Foxify, definitely sales is in my blood. And Charles and I have conversed on email. I think last year. Because I'm always trying to look for new deals, new platforms that we can integrate and partner with. So Charles and I have actually sort of crossed paths previously, but the first time meeting. So Charles, it'd be great to get sort of an introduction. Everybody knows what dYdX is, right? You're part of the furniture in terms of this industry, but it'd be great to get an introduction to you, where you fit into the organization, and maybe just a quick cap on what's going on with dYdX.
Absolutely. So I'm Charles. I'm the CEO of the dYdX Foundation. So dYdX has several entities and groups and community organizations which are building around the open source protocol. And at the dYdX Foundation, we are essentially taking care of governance. We are taking care of the grants program, where we essentially put to work some of the funds of the protocol into some strategic initiative via grants program. But we also take care of the ecosystem marketing in general. Some other very important entities within the dYdX ecosystem are dYdX Labs, funded by Antonio Giuliano, the founder of dYdX. And at dYdX Labs, you'll find all the engineers, the giga brains, which are building the risk engine, which are building the order books, which are taking care of the chain upgrades. And via governance, the community token holders are essentially enabling upgrades, enabling new directions and decisions for the protocol. I'm originally from France. I've been living in Asia for 20 years. I'm now located in Dubai. Um, when I'm not working on dYdX, I'm writing books. One of the latest book I've wrote two books, is just behind me. It's called Arabian Crypto, where I essentially interview a lot of my friends here in the Dubai and Abu Dhabi crypto ecosystem to give a sense of how this part of the world has become a major hub for crypto and crypto trading in particular. So, as you may know, the founder and the teams of Binance are here in the region. Same for OKX, same for many market makers and key players from the trading space. So that's a fun project I went through, and I'm always happy to share stories about the ecosystem here. And what's happening at dYdX, we are evolving since 2018 together with the market. The market sometimes pull you up, and sometimes the market brings all of us as an industry into harder times. So right now it's not the best times in the market, but dYdX still strive. We're still within the top tier decentralized exchange for perps, and we keep pushing the frontier in terms of innovation. So we've been one of the first one last year to work on perpetuals around prediction market. We are also we've launched some RWA such as FX. So perps around FX trading pairs, perps around stocks as well. So you will hear more of this type of programs within dYdX in the coming months. dYdX moved today about $1 billion of trading volume every week. And we've been working also at the foundation together with the community to keep refining the token economics and keep refining the liquidity systems around dYdX order books, and making sure that we've got the most reactive type of platform. So whenever there is a new crypto asset, people can essentially raise their hand and very quickly organize so that this new trading pair appears in a matter of hours on dYdX. So that's the exciting part. If you want to get a snapshot about dYdX, and make sure you download the ecosystem report, which we published late last month, which give you really like all the key numbers, the key milestone of 2025, and what we're working on for 2026. And one of the things which I'm super excited is our partnership. I always obviously seen this happening in the background. I've seen the governance being involved and the people saying yes, of course, and quicker, please. So here it is, it's launched, and I think there is a promotion campaign as well. So I look forward to get the details with you.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, brilliant to have you on. I didn't realize you were an author, Charles. I think you've written more books than I've read in the last couple of years. So that's. I'll give a brief intro to myself, and then we can move into the product. And I'll kind of tee things up with a question with Charles, actually, because a lot of people that will be watching this will be maybe hearing about prop trading for the first time. Perpetuals is sort of very well known within crypto, but prop trading not so much. Introduction to me, so you can tell that I'm from across the other side of the water than Charles. Whereabouts are you from, actually, Charles?
So I'm originally from France, in Lille, in North France.
Lille, okay, so not far.
Yeah.
So I live in the south of England, so we're basically neighbours. So my background. So I did 10 years in corporate. Actually, I've only been in this industry for nearly 4 years as a founder now. Actually, almost 4 years to the date since I started in the industry, and yeah, so actually I spent 4 years working for a French company. I worked for Schneider Electric, so yeah, very used to being told what to do by French people, and then I did a couple of years in a startup. So went from sort of 30 billion turnover company into tiny sort of London-based SaaS business, which was an amazing. I'm so glad I did that before I became a founder, because I thought I could be a founder then, and I now know in hindsight that it would have chewed me up even more than it does in reality. So I did 2 years in a SaaS startup, and then 2022 had an idea for a DeFi project, and some people liked it, and then they invested, and I turned around to my fiance at the time and my boss and said, look, I'm going to go and do this. I can only regret the things we don't do. And I quit my job at probably the peak of my career, probably the most comfortable I've ever been, and started my first project a week before the Terra Luna crisis. So do not follow me for trading tips. But we did well. We built like a brilliant community, which actually even today, most of our largest token holders are that same group of people that really believed in us at the start. And we pivoted into Foxify in 2023, realized that perpetuals is super tough, right? You've got people like dYdX, for instance, as your competition, like well-funded, very professional organization, huge brand name, really tough to compete. So we started to investigate prop trading, and prop trading is a Web2 industry predominantly, and it's where these apps say that they'll give you access to more capital, which is sounds super sexy, but the reality is they run like casinos, most of them. Yeah. So what they're doing is they're saying they're giving you money, Charles, but what they're really doing is just setting you up with a paper trading account. They're betting on you'll be terrible at trading, so you'll pay a deposit and then just blow up, and they keep your money basically. And if you are any good, then they just do everything they possibly can not to pay you out, right? Because their business relies on you failing, right? It's kind of like the casino. If you went in the casino, they don't want Rain Man in the casino, right? Because they want you to lose. And these apps work in a very similar way. And it's all possible actually because of the limitations of Web 2, where you have to trust what you're seeing and what you're using. So I thought, right, okay, well, Web 3 actually solves a real problem here. What if you could build a prop trading application and users could see for 100% real that it is real money? And quite often the way this kind of plays out in the prop trading world is, say, Charles, you're a brilliant trader, you rack up $40,000 worth of gains, and when you go to click withdraw, they don't have $40,000 to pay you, or they have it and they don't want to pay you, right? Yeah. And so now they'll say, we found an issue with your KYC. We know some prop traders just straight out get banned by companies because they don't want to pay you out. And this is all, and you can only find out at the end of the process that they either don't have or don't want to pay you, right? Whereas, so we had this vision for Funded, which is a Web3 prop trading app where you can get access to additional capital. And then we realize, well, actually, this isn't just a problem for us as a trading platform. This is a problem for all trading platforms, because every user that's sucked into one of these schemes is a user that isn't on dYdX, right? So we thought, well, why don't we take funding and we take it to existing platforms as a plugin, and then it allows platforms like dYdX to effectively have a prop trading application, a proposition where users can get access to more capital than they would have otherwise to trade with. Does that make sense, Charles?
100%, and I'm glad this integration went very smoothly and in a very natural way. It's basically a very good complement from each other's strength and technologies. So it's really good looking and elegant.
Fantastic, thank you. So should I crack on with the demonstration?
That would be awesome.
Okay, brilliant. All right, let me share my screen. So I'm looking in the comments, guys. So if you can give me, I'm going to go, shall I share window? Let's have a look. Will it work? So I'm looking for thumbs up in the comments that everybody can see it okay. So bear with me. Can you see my screen okay, guys?
Yeah.
Do you see the dYdX UI?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, fantastic.
Foxify.trade.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, and look, I think, Charles, you could probably guess why it's Foxify, right? It's a, you know, trading is about
as a former consensus, I remember the MetaMask wallet. But I know also the foxes are very smart and can smell opportunities miles away and just go in a clever way to catch those. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And look, trading is, you know, there's always, whenever you win, we're always happy, right? In our and arrogant in our success. But there's always somebody losing on the other side of that, right? There has to be a counterparty. So you know, trading is trying to outfox your opponent and trying to get their liquidity, and they're trying to take your liquidity, and that's the reality. So that's the name of where Foxify came from. So you can see here, in terms of what's in front of us, I've actually got a live challenge. I started a challenge earlier this morning, and I would kind of show you sort of how the system works and how the integration is set up at the moment. So before I do that, I do want to, Charles, I want to pick your brains, because the chart's right in front of us, right? You've got so much experience in this industry. For me, I'm completely perplexed with the market at the moment, because you got to remember, my first bear market in this industry, it was really clear what was happening and why. You know, you had Terra Luna, you had FTX, you had Celsius. It was super clear why stuff was happening. At the moment, I think we're all guessing, do we go down another 20K? Do we rebound? And but it's really hard to know what kind of why it's happening. I'd love to get your input on where the market is and what's going on.
I think we're still recovery from October. So for those who have not the full context, in October 10 last year, there was a major liquidity event with close to $20 billion of liquidation, which happened for all kind of reasons. It's probably a conversation for another day, but the market crashed at that point. Usually when you've got such a sizable crash, it takes minimum 3 months, 3 to 4 months for the market to kind of recover and heal from this crisis. So we're still in the process of recovering from October, and then comes a very shaky macroeconomic environment around us. So what it brings to us this week and last week is a market with very thin liquidity, with not much retail participation back, and a lot of macro questions here and there, which makes the market extremely sensitive. And you touch also at the end of the month, so a lot of the option traders expiry happened last Friday. So it kind of a monthly type of reset on a very thin liquidity market, lacking of retail users, surrounded by macro uncertainty between what's going to happen in Iran, what's happening in Ukraine, and the tariffs are still going on, and so on. I think the market, I've been in crypto for a few years now. I think the market has been evolving also massively. We keep mentioning retail because they're part of our community. We are retail traders, but the reality is the crypto markets as we practice them today are much more, I would say, shaped by larger and larger institutions, more and more sophisticated trading teams and trading desks. Those people are from Asia, Europe, and the US, and they were not in masses in the previous cycle of crypto. If you think of 2017 or 2021 and so on. So the market is definitely evolving. I think what we are probably seeing is I don't think the 4-year cycle really apply anymore, in my opinion. You will still see volatility, but the volatility will be kind of funneled into smaller volatility. It does not mean it's not painful. We've seen volatility here coming down to 69K for today, but I believe as well that we are approaching the bottom. Um, there is a lot of metrics in the industry which are showing that crypto in general are doing just fantastically well. The amount of activity on Ethereum, on Solana, the number of wallets, the number of new licenses, the number of TradFi players getting involved with stablecoin, all of this brings activity. So we are
Mm,
at one point now when the market is mispricing the reality of what's happening. We've got
mm,
the Clarity Act coming in the US probably in a few weeks' time. So there is a lot of very positive signal, but the
mm,
market is not having this sharing the same view right now.
yeah.
So I'm always optimistic, and I think one of the advantage of perpetual trades when you trade on the top of the open source dYdX order book is you can express your opinion. You can express your opinion in a downward trend type of market, but also when it's going upward, right? So when you trade perps, you essentially uh, ex- uh, express your opinion and get an exposure to different type of crypto assets, should it be Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, or one of the 250 plus trading pairs available. And then you decide if you believe the trend will be going on the upside or on the downside, and you can also amplify your opinion with some leverage. So all of this has to be done with a lot of thoughts. I really invite everyone when you are on dYdX.foxify.trade to spend time to understand how many order types there are available on dYdX. It's not only buy or sell. You've got some other types which are giving you some TWAPs, or you can take profit. You can define already your trade in advance, so you can automatically exit the trade whenever there is enough profit or some loss being computed. Because when you trade perps, it's a very very dynamic type of trades. But we can come
Yeah.
back to this in a few minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's great insight. And it's a great point. I think I agree with you, but I'm always optimistic as well. That's always a flaw. But I think rate cuts will be imminent. I think the Clarity Act, and we're naturally finding a bottom just at the right time, I think. So I still think it could go a lot further, and I think we could see a recovery and then a true bottom maybe later on in the year. But yeah, interesting times for sure.
Some
Cool.
people make money in this market. That's
Yeah.
super important. So when you come into the world of dYdX and the world of crypto derivative, you're surrounded by gigabrains of markets. Some people will lose money when the market go up. Some people will make money when the market go down because of the kind of granularity of instruments you have in your hand. So it's
Mm,
important to stay optimist, and it's important to stay connected with your community. And I know at Foxify it's a very vivid community, so you can share notes, you can share you can understand how people will react. Maybe some members are playing with the markets for longer than others, and you
yeah.
should observe and learn from these community members to understand how and why and how they position. I think the sizing also of every position is very important.
Yeah, for
Don't
sure.
let your excitement go. You might have a great idea, but a great idea also has to be sized properly. and it's something everyone does,
Yeah.
following his own appetite. That's
Yeah.
one of the secrets of great traders is also proper sizing over time,
Mm,
allowing them to essentially grab opportunities or position themselves on opportunities, but also sizing the right way, potential profit, but also potential losses.
yeah, absolutely. There's a trading. So I've run the Paris Marathon a few times. There's a saying in running which is you can't win the race in the first mile, but you can lose it by going off too hard. And I think trading is quite similar. You can't win it all in one trade, but you can lose it all in one
Yeah.
trade. So yeah, I agree with Charles. I personally, I play around with trading on and off. I don't care enough to educate myself, and I think that's really important if you want to be serious about trading. But what I have found in terms of my own sort of leisurely playing of trading, just reducing my size has given me just completely different outcomes because it just allows you to ride sort of movements up and down. So totally agree with what Charles is saying. Start small. Cool. All right, Charles, I'm going to kick into the demo. So look, this is the dYdX platform, but what you're actually looking at here is the funded application on top of it. So what I'm going to do is step back a little bit, and we're going to go into, so if you go to foxify.trade, you'll see a link to the dYdX platform. And actually, I would start here, which is to start my journey. So we've got some great tutorials to get you started, how you get going, how it all works. And you've also got some documentation here as well. So if you want to learn about funded, effectively what funded does is it allows a trader to get up to $10,000 of capital with a much smaller deposit. And so you can start either with an entry account, which is what I've got at the moment. I always recommend starting with an entry account if you're new to it. And you can just deposit $100 and you'll instantly have $500 that you can then scale up to $10,000. So if you prove that you can perform, it's completely anonymous, right? So there's nothing to go on other than your own performance. Then the system will just keep allowing you to take more and more liquidity and you scale up. If you perform badly, the system will take it away. But you've got real funds in your account. You can, if you're confident, you can go straight in a pro, you put in $500, you instantly have $2,500 and you start much further up. So I'll just show you now. We'll go here. So this is the journey to $10,000. If you're starting on the entry level, you can see here, I deposit $100 and I instantly have 500. But we protect ourselves by applying a 20% drawdown. Now, there is some operational and slippage risk for us there. So it's not like it's a free hit for us. But ultimately, this first level is about us saying, Charles, you know, how are you going to act with our money, right? And if you do well, so you need to get plus $75, and you prove that it's not just a one trade wonder, so you earn points by being active. Then we'll start increasing the risk that the system takes on you, and you start having more money, and that grows really quickly, actually. So on the entry account I have at the moment, I start with $500. I've only deposited $100. I cash out after one level. I get to keep 80% of what I cash out. It's not, by the way, you can run the profit as high as you want. We get traders cashing out thousands of dollars on levels if they really hit a trade. And then at the next level, after your cash out, you'll have $1,250. So despite the fact I've only deposited $100, by passing one level, I've got 12.5 times the amount of capital, and then it doubles again and so on, all the way up to $10,000. If I just show you from a pro level, it just means that your path to that 10K is just a lot quicker as well. So if I'm on pro, I've instantly got 2.5. I passed one level and I've now got $5,000, which actually with $5,000 and good risk management, that can actually make a difference to somebody financially as well. So there's obviously risk there, but it just means with a much smaller deposit, you've got access to much more funds to trade than you would have otherwise. Make sense, Charles?
Absolutely. That's exciting to be able to essentially amplify your talents, take some measures the risk and everything. But that's good to know that automatically you get support and amplification. That's great.
Yeah. So we'll come back to the trading window. So just so I can explain what's going on here, what you see. So this is the dYdX backend. This is a fork of the dYdX front end that you're trading on, which is hosted on our URL. And then you can see this other stuff here, which is unique to the application. So what this is like my modal for telling me what's going on in my current challenge that I'm on. Okay, now one of the big issues with prop trading, and once you understand how they work, it's very clear why they're designed like that. But one of the big issues is it's very complex in terms of the rules, drawdown. You're not allowed to trade the news. You're not allowed to trade certain strategies. Ultimately, these platforms come up with any number of reasons they possibly can to make it as hard as possible for you to cash out, right? So in tackling that, because actually we want to see you succeed. If you do succeed, you're not taking our money, you're winning against the market maker. So we're very happy to see you do that. We make it as simple as possible. So there's no trading restrictions. All you have to do is hit your target, stay within your drawdown boundaries. And in terms of you managing your own time, you can see this timer here. That's purely, so rather than having a fixed time period, so to say you've got a week to pass, actually what we do is we give you minimum 7 days. And then every time you're active, you actually earn more time. And when you're inactive, the time is running down. And what that gives you then is, you're an adult, you should be if you're using this. And what that gives you then is complete flexibility. So you can see I actually started this challenge today. I've opened one trade. I opened a Bitcoin short and closed it. I'm now in a Bitcoin long because I am a perma optimist. But you can see I already have 11 days. So actually, maybe me and Charles are going to go to Ibiza for the weekend. I can just leave my challenge, come back in a few days, and it's perfectly fine. I can just manage it. It also means that if I forget about my challenge and I disappear, so maybe I don't come back from Ibiza with Charles, then the timer will run down, and then it allows our system to pull that liquidity back from the user because they've become inactive. Okay, so it's super, super flexible. You start your challenge, you hit your points target, and then you'll be able to cash out your profit. So if I go into our challenge dashboard, that will give me a summary of what's going on my challenge at the moment. So you can see that I've got $500, $100 came from me, and $400 came from an on-chain liquidity vault. And you can see that I'm not in drawdown. I'm currently in profit, so I'm up $5 at the moment. I've been active, so it means that I acquire points by being active and also being positive in terms of P&L. So you can see that I'm already 7% towards where I need to get to. When this gets to 100% and my P&L is plus 15%, then it will just move into what we call on-deck mode. I click a button and a smart contract pays me out USDC on-chain. Also what prop trading firms do is they have an approval process. So you have to request a payout. Maybe it gets approved, maybe it gets denied. With our system, you're effectively cashing yourself out because as long as conditions are met, then you can click a button and the USDC will land back in your wallet. And you could pause at that point if you wanted to, because the system will stay idle until you're ready to start the next level. So maybe I want a break after passing the first level. I can come back a couple of days later, click, start the next level, and I'm off with $1,250 at the next stage.
And every trader has access to all the asset trading pairs. Anyone can trade anything, or do you have a special selections of trading pairs in the context of the funded functionality?
It's a great question. I don't want to geek out too much on prop trading firms, but the one of the ways that prop trading firms work is by forcing all of their volume down a very narrow sort of pipe, if you like, which means that quite often even the biggest, I won't mention names, even the biggest prop trading applications in the industry, you can only trade a very small number of pairs because they're trying to force their volume and all of their users through a very narrow bandwidth. It's very efficient for them to run their system. Whereas because you're taking real capital and trading on the real market, we don't have any of those restrictions actually. So simple answer to your question, Charles, I can trade any of the assets that are available on dYdX.
Excellent.
Yep.
Can we trade via API as well, yeah?
You can, yeah, you can, absolutely. I know there's lots of API traders on dYdX. We're seeing, yeah, a hive of activity on our system at the moment. So at the moment, we've got a $20,000 volume competition as well. So if we go here, it will show us this is outside of anything that dYdX is currently doing. I love, Charles, how our system it looks and feels like you're in dYdX, right?
Absolutely. This is almost confusing, but this is I take it as a compliment for the community that's seeing that It
Yeah.
looks very familiar. I love it.
Yeah, and we've integrated with multiple platforms on multiple liquidity layers. We've got, Hyperliquid, Asta coming. We've just signed our first central exchange, but haven't publicized it yet. It's a huge brand name. So Foxify will be a place where you can access lots of different applications. What I would say is that dYdX is fit with Foxify. Like aesthetically, it looks it's my favorite by a long way at the moment.
Awesome.
Yeah, but answer to your question, yeah, you can trade API. You can see here, top prize at the moment is $7,000 on the volume competition. That'll be paid 50% Fox tokens, 50% in USDC, and only 5 million actually leads the way on that competition right now. So yeah, you can get funded instantly on chain. And scale up to $10,000. You keep 80% of the profits you generate, and you don't have to sleep with one eye open thinking, have these guys really got the cash at the end of this? Because you're trading against the real market maker on dYdX, and you've got complete flexibility over your trading style. If you want to use hedging strategies, trading bots, like actually, if you've got trading bots and you think that you could run dozens of challenges, be our guest. We would happily fund. And we actually allow traders to even run multiple challenges, so you can go. I can start multiple journeys on the same level as well.
And what is really awesome is, as you mentioned earlier, is you trade on dYdX essentially. So you get the same quality of execution, you get the same kind of counterparts on the order book. It's the same order book, so the same spread, the same quality of execution, the same liquidity, which is very important. It's not an isolated trading venue. It's basically a trading venue which is enhanced with all the functionality of Foxify. But the underlying market is as fair as the original. Is essentially exactly the same. You just come with an ally and an additional fund to express yourself louder.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the issue with the prop trading industry, right? Is that the user is fundamentally misaligned with the platform that they're using. They can only survive, let alone thrive, if traders are losing, right? And now when we've had a couple of beers and we walk in the casino, we know that, and that's the choice that we make. What these prop trading companies are doing is they're saying, Charles, we'll make you financially independent. You can punch your boss in the face and walk out and become a great trader. So they're saying this, but what they're doing is trying to do everything possible to stop you getting paid out. Whereas from our perspective, actually, bad traders, we don't like bad traders so much because bad traders don't stay very long, whereas good traders keep trading. So our outcomes are completely linked to our users. The more successful you are, the better we do. We actually, remember, we take a 20% profit share as well, which helps to cover some of the liquidity exposure within the system. So yeah, it's completely fair. And at the same time, we're always trying to think of ways. So one of the things we've got in the pipeline is automated funded challenges. Most people just haven't got the time to trade, let alone whether you've got the skill or not. So we're working with professional traders and strategists where you'll be able to copy other people's trading accounts or even take an automated strategy and let it run your funded account for you. Whereas a prop trading firm will never be able to do that because they'd be helping you to take their money, right? So there's lots of things we've got in the pipeline as well, which will really help. Not only sort of avid traders, but also casual participants that would like the exposure and to tape up and maybe just don't have the time.
That's awesome. It's good to see that there is this alignment between how you fund your users and how the Foxify journey is elegantly fitting with the dYdX platform. And maybe just as a reminder, dYdX does not trade. The order books are transparent. dYdX is a protocol which is open source. People can look how it's built. It's run by a network of validators, and no one at dYdX is trading against you. If you go in some other trading venues, you might be essentially playing against the house, like you're playing at the casino against the house. When you go in properly designed and operated DeFi, as dYdX is, you essentially come and if you happen to be Danny a better trader than me, it's just for us to just play our best game within the fair platform that is dYdX. So no one is trading behind dYdX beside organic users of dYdX. Some of them are very sophisticated. 80% of the trading is happening via API. Some others are more specializing into meme coins or long tail assets. It's a very diverse type of ecosystem, so it makes the marketplace very, very healthy and highly liquid.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a great point, and we're very similar. You're the middle guys, aren't you? And you do. You know, I always say this. You know, good traders keep trading. So so whilst you're impartial, you're not completely, because you actually want to see traders succeed, right? Because traders that succeed, it's, you know, every business is customer acquisition costs and the lifetime value of the customer. A winning trader is so much more valuable to a trading platform. Albeit we know that a lot of these bucket shop central exchanges, and we've all seen the stories on Twitter, as soon as you start fiddling in being the counterparty, then you can no longer cheer on the trader, right? And it's a very tricky conflict of interest, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, great stuff. Charles, I do want to just quickly share, so anybody watching this thinks this is really cool, but I'm just not a trader and never will be. We do have a token, and if you wanted to participate in our protocol in a passive way, then 30% of the trading fees, the net trading fees that our protocol generates, is used to buy back our token and distribute to stakers. So never a hard sell, because this industry, you know, give financial advice at your peril. But if you think this is a really cool project and I'd love to be part of this community, then that's a great way of getting involved if you're not really a trader yourself.
Excellent. Can you remind us how to access this dYdX by Foxify platform?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can go. So somebody's just said, Charles, this is a terrible company. So yeah, all of the fans are out in force to say, I've got 4 years in DeFi. You'd have to go a lot harder than that to get me rocking. So if you want to find it, so go to foxify.trade, foxify.trade, or you can go actually to dydx.foxify.trade, and it might be. Let me double check. I think I might have given you the wrong one there. No, dydx.foxify.trade, or you can just go to foxify.trade and you'll be able to access. We've got 2 weeks left on the trading competition, by the way. So there's a lot of traders who came out the gate really hard, and they seem to have slowed down a bit. So I think it's the top 15 are getting paid on that competition. So if you want to get involved, you've got a couple of weeks left.
Excellent.
Brilliant.
Danny, thank you so much for having me today. I'm really excited about this collaboration between our two protocols and companies. And yeah, I wish every trader the best of luck and a supportive market and winning trades.
Brilliant. Thank you, Charles. Take care, everyone.
Cheers.